And that's the risk they run by not having these characters like having purpose yet. You know what I mean? So like Elrond, he's already succeeded. The dwarves are working on the forge, so now he's running around not being shady about Mithril. Like that was his whole, like, what happened this episode? Like really nothing. Like the Mithril storyline means nothing to Elrond, so it means nothing to me because there's no worry for Elrond stealing Mithril. So the dwarves were just being crazy.
Yeah, it was all just suspicion for
The
no reason.
Numenor, what happened there? Not really anything. Like they decided they're gonna go with Galadriel, but like that's it. It took the whole episode to be like, okay, we're gonna join you, because we basically rehashed the same argument that we did when we first came to Numenor, which was Galadriel being really mean, nobody liking the way she acted, but then eventually they decided to help her because, like you pointed out, the tree was still shedding its petals, which was a sign that Numenor was in trouble. And so the queen decided in that moment, I think you're right, in that moment, to shift her decision and say, look, I sent Galadriel away, but that hasn't stopped the tree from showing signs of danger. So we're going to now do the opposite and help Galadriel, because maybe that is what the tree and my visions were warning us all along. Because that's the problem with visions, and that's why I like George R. R. Martin's writing. The problem with visions is sometimes you misinterpret them.
Yes.
And when you see Galadriel come, and then you see a wave wash away Numenor, your mind puts Galadriel as the cause. But what the vision is saying is, unless you get Galadriel and help her, then you'll get washed. Like, you know what I mean? So like that's the risk you run from just going with these visions. But like not a ton happened. Like
no.
and this is a problem. I mean, people joke that the Peter Jackson trilogies are just walking simulators. So much happens. Literally, I would watch an entire extended edition of each scene in those original trilogy because they're so captivating. There's so much going on. And here, there's some scenes where I'm like, there's no point to this. And one in particular that people are really making fun of, and I'm sure you've seen this, the horses. When Galadriel is riding slow motion on horses, that takes forever. It's slow motion horseback riding on a beach. It's brutal. Like, I mean, I'm all for having a stylistic shot now and again, but like you could have literally just said we're gonna travel by horse to the east of Numenor, and I didn't need the horses. Like, literally, you didn't have to hire horses. You could have just.
Well,
gone.
they just want to show that Galadriel is happy doing something.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't do anything to me because I don't care. Like, okay, great. So she's happy when she has horses, but she's mean to everyone. Like,
it's funny because she's mean right before the horses, then she's happy when she rides the horses. When she gets off the horses, then she's mean again.
yeah, and she's only happy when she realizes that East Numenor hasn't torn down everything that elves made. And she finds this, he takes her to this library and there's some elf stuff there. And that's when she's like, oh, elf stuff. I'm like, but you don't even like the elves. You were literally yelling at the king of the elves. You're mad at everyone. Yeah. Oh man, I really hope she meets Harfoot. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, her and Sadak having like
that would be a scene. I'd do a whole hour-long episode of just them yelling at each other. No, the stars mean this. No, you idiot. Those are elves up there, and they mean this. Oh man. Yeah. So all in all, halfway through, I think, I do think the show has a lot to offer. It's potentially found a bit of a it's gotten a bit too casual right now. Like it's kind of just meandering around. It hasn't really progressed much. Yes, we got Arondir back, but we still don't know who the Adar is. Halbrand still seems sketchy, but at least now we have him on Numenor and Galadriel not on Numenor. So now we get to see him on his own, maybe, if we come back there. So we'll have to see how episode 5 goes. But like this episode, and this is sort of what I hinted at earlier, there's a lot that could have been done in the previous episode with like one or two scenes that fulfill this entire episode. The only true scenes that were needed and new was Arondir's escape and Bronwyn and her struggles with those people. But everything else kind of seemed either pointless from the Mithril stuff, where like there was never any worry there from either. Like, as an audience member, there's nothing intriguing about dwarves finding Mithril, thinking elves are trying to steal it, but us knowing all along the elves are not trying to steal it. So to me, it's kind of a wasted opportunity to have true intrigue. And then the Numenor scene, it's just Galadriel being mean. So again, we've already done that. We've already seen her be mean to people. We did get a little bit of a reveal from Halbrand on how his mind works. But again, these are just a handful of scenes you could have thrown in a previous episode, and you essentially had the exact same setup for episode 5. And that's a bit of a frustration for me.